Hey everyone, how's it going? Just wanted to check in and answer this question that a lot of people have, especially if you are in e-commerce and you are doing some journals and notebooks. You've been hearing a lot about that of the no content or the low content notebooks. But also, if you're an author, there's a lot of people here that are actual authors and they do have some books that are either self-published or are fully published. So if you are doing full content books, publishing them, self-publishing through KDP, or you're doing low content or no content books such as journals and notebooks, that could be other things too, like recipe keepers, trackers, different kinds of creative things that people can truly use. This is going to be important for you to listen to today to find out whether or not Pinterest is going to be the right place for you. And you probably have already guessed what the answer to that might be, but I want to share with you some things and we'll go over and share my screen with you on Pinterest so that we can take a look at what's going on. Okay. This is one company, but what I want to show you is if you just look at the keywords that are here on Pinterest, you're going to see a lot of really cool ideas. So before you make your next notebook or your next journal or write the next book, you can get ideas of what topics that you want to include. With your, if you really love doing the journals and notebooks, I would especially encourage you to get over here so that you know what kinds of things people are actually looking for. What do they want? And remember that this is the third largest search engine in the world. So you really need to take the advice from the shoppers that are sitting over here and they're looking for these things. So if we take a look at books, you can see, yes, books to read, but young adult books do really well here on Pinterest. Anything to do with photography. This is a really fascinating idea. And there are people who have done photography books for years, but if you do photography as a hobby or as a side business, why not take some of your photographs that are just beautiful photographs, put them in a book collection because people do buy them. They want to see the beautiful photography. Put them into collections and you can have a whole series of books that are your pictures. Or you could have a book about photography that is how-tos, tips, ideas, being able to teach, or maybe it's talking about how you do this side business successfully and how someone else can get started too. Pictures in general, people really like pictures in their books. So I don't care what kind of book you're creating, it's very helpful for you to have pictures in there. Why? Because people are very visual. So that's one reason why they are here on Pinterest, is because they love the visual pins. That's how they like to do their research, is visually, instead of by reading so many words. And it also is relaxing because they don't have to spend as much mental brain power and energy when they come over here to Pinterest to just creatively get ideas, brainstorm, and search for things that they want to discover, would like to have. That's why it's fun and relaxing for people. So you want to create the same environment and the same atmosphere inside of your books. If you have lots of pictures in there, you don't have to have tons and tons of words for people to read in order for them to really feel like, yes, I can really enjoy relaxing with this book. I don't need to have a book 24/7 that is real heavy, deep reading material. I like to have some things that are light and relaxing as well for different times of day, or maybe it's you're in a certain kind of mood and that's just what is going to be the best for you in the moment. So people do like to have books that aren't, you know, hugely in depth with tons of words. You don't have to write the world's best novel, is what it sounds to me like what people are looking for here. Books for women. That makes sense because there is a very, very large number of women that are over here searching. And they are looking for things to read, to do, journals. Things like journals and notebooks are more women tend to use those types of materials. And there's other things here, romance books. If you're an author in that category or genre, they want to know what are the best-selling books, quotes I don't know if you've ever thought about putting together a collection of quotes. That's kind of fascinating. They don't need to be famous quotes. In fact, you would want to stay away from that because of issues with trademark. But why can you not create your own quotes and your own sayings? And if you do that, the quotes and sayings on Pinterest are huge, and you can create notebooks and journals that are totally around that, with different sayings and quotes that you create yourself. And it's up to you if you want to put your name next to it as that quote or saying coming from you. But people love the inspiration. That's really what they're looking for, is inspiration. Mystery type books, they're looking for what's recommended. And these are ideas for your boards, by the way, because if you are in this area and you are selling these types of products, this is going to give you ideas on what kinds of boards to be setting up and thinking about. They like the classic, the fantasy, the inspirational, the funny, the aesthetic, the art. If you're an artist, you could put your art in a collection in a book. That would be great. If you have, let's say that you are selling products that have your art designs on print-on-demand products. If those are awesome and amazing looking art designs that you could either use as is, or maybe you want to modify them in a special way, just make a few changes to them in a special way, that could be put into a book collection. And you could publish that on KDP very, very easily. People will just get that. It's just a visual book is all the more it is. And you might ask, well, who would buy a book that is just nothing but pictures, that is very, very visual? Well, people here on Pinterest would, because that's what they're looking for. This is why they're here. They love the visual aspect. And if you want to talk about marketing, I think visual marketing is going to be the future. This is where we're headed. And this is where Pinterest is so different from anywhere else. It's even different from Google because of its emphasis on the visual rather than on a lot of words. And I think that they've really tapped into and listened to what people want. So you want to take advantage of that and create some things that can be products that are visual as well. Why? Because look, I mean, the people who are sitting here on Pinterest are all loving and enjoying the visual quality of the search engine. So it would actually do great for you to market those types of materials here on Pinterest, because you are already tapping into those buyers, shoppers, and people who become loyal fans. That's why you want to get those things here on Pinterest. They're already here for that reason. So expand on what you can do visually with your books and journals and notebooks, or whatever kinds of things that you are creating in the book space, author space. Self-help, Christian fiction, children's books do well. Poetry, if you have a collection of poetry, you might want to dig that up and put it together. Lots of things here. They even like books for home decor, which I think is fascinating and interesting. So if you have products that you're buying wholesale or private label products that are in the home decor area, the books that the home decor that looks like books, that can do well. You also may want to show examples creatively of your books that you have already created, and you can, if you are self-publishing or traditional publishing, it doesn't matter. You can have copies of your books stacked up in creative ways to make it show people how you can use books as part of home decor, as well as you want to pick it up and actually read it or use it. And there are many, many different ways of doing that. If you take a picture of that and show people the different ways that they can use books as part of their home decor, and it happens to be a stack of your books, that's a great way of marketing your books, where you can expand it now out to the people who are looking for home decorating ideas, not just books to read. So you can you can further your audience much bigger and broader without having to work too hard, by getting creative and doing pictures like this, where you show a stack of them and you put something on top. It makes it look like it's another table. that you've turned a stack of books into a table. Something that's fun like this. And then they actually have a blog post that they wrote about different ways that you can decorate your apartment with books. That would be great for you to go and read that to get ideas. That's excellent marketing. That is really, really clever and creative marketing of your books, notebooks, and journals. So I would not have thought of that angle if I had not come over here and took a look at that word decor that was popping up next to books. That's really fascinating to think about that and look into it. So that's why you need to get over here to find out what people are interested in. And there's a lot of creativity over here. So especially if you feel like you're not a creative person, this is going to help you. The creativity here is right in front of you, and it's going to spark more of that in your mind as you go along. The more that you do something unusual and different, the more that you create a new path and territory for yourself in marketing, doing what other people aren't doing, and is going to help you get more sales and more traffic to your books and to your products. So that is part of your blue ocean, is what are my, things like what am I offering, who am I offering it to, and what problems does it solve, how does it help people? That's part of your blue ocean. The other part of it is, what is my marketing channels? Where can I be the most effective, and where should I put my time and attention in marketing? And then how am I going to market these materials in a creative way that might be slightly different from what other people are doing? And if by doing that, you really will see that it's much easier for you to sell your books in general, because you have taken the time to develop a strategy and a plan. That's really what the bottom line is you need to strategize before you start marketing any of your brands, your products, or if you are an author yourself as the author. Okay, so lots and lots of interesting keywords. Let's take a look at what it says for journals and articles about how to start a journal. If you have a blog, you definitely want to use that to be marketing your products, because blog posts are so easy for you to do marketing. It's called content marketing. People love reading those blog posts. You can drive tons of traffic to them, and then you can market, you can have your products included right inside of your blog posts. And I'll tell you what, you will do very well. You will make a lot of money if you can incorporate those two things together. And then it's much easier for you to come up with some creative ideas and have a place for your pictures and visual pictures to be held that can then be marketed on Pinterest. So bullet journals are extremely popular, but you have to be careful about using the words bullet journal, because that is trademarked. So you would need to get around that in some way as far as publishing your own materials. But as far as marketing, that's the language that people are using in marketing, and it means something more general. It's not a reference to the actual brand name or the actual trademark name. And you will see, let's take a look at what's happening here. You're going to see these really cool examples. So you can get ideas of how you want to create your own bullet journal. If you are just publishing bullet journals, that's not really going to be enough for you to just sit and publish one after another bullet journal. If you really want to do well with your marketing and sell more of these, you need to show people how to use the bullet journals. And that is what's been most effective right here with all of these pins. Is here's ideas, here's a list of ideas for your bullet journal. Here's different ways that you can create pages inside of your bullet journals creatively. So this is what you'd want to do. Again, it would be easier for you to have a blog where you could write an article about how you created this page and who might be interested in creating a page in their bullet journal like that. And then of course, include your products within that blog post of different bullet journals that you've included, or connect it to a store where they can go shopping for lots of different types of bullet journals. So that is hugely popular on Pinterest. If you have bullet journals, you need to be over here on Pinterest. I'm telling you, because this has been trending for the last 2 years at least, maybe a little bit longer. that people are looking for, especially this time of year in the new year. And they're trying to get organized. They're trying to do something new and different so that they can get their life under control, right? We're all trying to do that. Journal ideas for anxiety. We're getting more specific now. For therapy, for doodles. People just like to doodle in them. So maybe you could create a low content or no content journal that is for people who love to doodle. They like prompts in their journals, and like journals that is about the Bible, inspiration, writing journals, just plain writing journals, creative journals, aesthetic, and then so on. They like certain looking covers. The covers are very appealing to people for why they would purchase it. Travel journals, journals and notebooks for beginners. Again, they like to have some quotes on the pages inside of the journal. Gratitude, supplies. Oh, that's interesting. Supplies that can go along with your journal. So here is an example of that, where they're offering free pins for bullet journaling. And this is being promoted where you can get this for free, which is interesting. That would be enticing to say, whoa, wait a minute, I get something for free and it's for my bullet journal. Great. I could use that. If it was, well, here's some free pens, I might say, well, that's interesting, but I don't know if I need any more pens. But they are saying it's free pens for your bullet journaling. Oh, yes, I wanted to get into that this year, so I do need some pens for that. Okay, so suddenly you have a need, right? You didn't have a need before. So this is very clever right here. Clever marketing going on. You can always go through here further and find out what people want so that you can get some ideas about what you want to do this year if you are creating these journals and notebooks, and or maybe you want to write something out. But if you're an author, for sure, you need to be over here as well. And you can get ideas about, again, different types of notebooks that people like. Looks like they like the white notebooks. Fascinating. I thought it would be more of the dark colors, but it looks like they might be enjoying some of the light colors and pastels and even white that they are looking for. You can scroll through to get ideas. The covers, organization for notebooks or organization notebooks. Interesting idea. Spiral is what they're looking for there. Composition notebooks, yes. Let's take a look at those. Now, this is an area that is, you know, there's a lot of people doing composition notebooks, but you can set yourself apart by actually marketing them on Pinterest in a creative way. So what I mean is you need to tell people how to use these composition notebooks. Otherwise, it's just another notebook that I don't really need. It's just clutter. But if you tell them how to use it and you have a really creative, awesome idea that has, you know, no one else has come up with this idea, and you show them how to do it, then suddenly they have a need for a notebook and they have a need for yours. So think about that and how you can use this. Now, this is fascinating, why they cut one in half. I would want to click through just to find out, like, why would you cut one in half in the first place? What do you use that for? And they really need to do more with that pin to make it, you could really pique more interest. If they had more things on the pin, then I would definitely be enticed to click through. But it's up at the top, and that's because there's a lot of people who are intrigued, and there's a high click-through rate on this one. So that's why it's float up to the top for composition notebooks. Okay, so you get ideas about what you can do for finding information of what should I do if I'm in the book market, if I am selling books of any kind, notebooks or journals, or if I'm an author and I have a book out there that I need to be marketing. So that's part of self-publishing, is that you are the person in charge of your own marketing. There is no one else doing that for you. And I definitely would not rely on Amazon doing your marketing for you. You are your business owner. You are the CEO. Take control of that. Don't rely on what's going to happen or may or may not happen on Amazon. Why don't you get it in front of people? Get it out there and get it in front of the people who are interested, who would love to have your product. So come over here to do that. Now let's take a look at some interesting things about what authors are doing. And I'm just going to type in author, and you can get some ideas here for people who are authors. They might have some tips that they want to do to help other people become authors. They have author quotes. That's very popular. But now I want to go into the people. Now, this is something that really amazed me. A lot of the very famous, well-known authors are not on Pinterest. And a lot of the self-published authors or lesser-known authors are actually starting to come over here and use this space as their marketing. And I'm seeing a lot of teachers, a lot of teachers who are authors in different areas and spaces, whether it's children's books, teens books, young adult, women books, books that are self-help, self-improvement, lifestyle books, healthy eating, all of those things. And think probably more of the types of books that women would want to pick up and get rather than so much that men would want at this point, because there is quite a bit more women that are here. So here is a lot of authors, and let's take a look at an example of one of them. Many of these people, I have no idea who they are. I've never heard of them before, and I do read a lot of books, but probably I don't read these types of books. I read a lot of development types of books and business books. So they are, oh, this is an editor. Okay, so not necessarily says that they're an author, but it looks like they're an editor of possibly a magazine. Okay, and they have a very low following, 161. Let's find someone else, and probably more up to the top. So you'll notice that the people up to the top have a lot more followers. That's why they're pushing up to the top in search. And they will continue to get more followers because they are up at the top. If they are down here at the bottom, most likely there is not quite as many followers, or maybe Pinterest has decided that they're just not consistent enough on Pinterest. They're not contributing enough. So then they kind of start pushing them down further in the search engine. So for example, let's take a look at this one with 44,000, about 45,000 followers. 1.1 million monthly viewers is where they're sitting at. And see what's going on here. Okay, so this is someone who helps people monetize their ideas through self-publishing and productivity systems. So this is a lot of books, social media. They're going to be talking about towards entrepreneurs, towards authors, towards people who are trying to create books and do marketing. So not necessarily, it's more geared towards that, not necessarily an actual author. This one is a children's book author, and it looks like it's just of one book. Did I scare you? And we'll take a look at what's going on here. Yeah, a lot of these, they're okay, but I'm not seeing significant keywords on the board titles. A lot of these are group boards that may need to be rechecked. So here, for example, I don't think I would be a part of a group board that is called Green Thumb because it has nothing to do with my book. If you're trying to promote your books as an author, and having a green thumb has nothing to do with your books that you include, I don't think I would have something like that. It's not going to help you at all. In fact, people are, when they come here, they're going to be confused. Like home decor, what does that have to do with a children's book? If you are promoting that and you're trying to lead in that way. So that's where you come in to play. If you are an author, or if you have journals and books, where you really can float up to the top and be more relevant with how you are branding either yourself as an author or how you are using your brand, your complete brand for all of your books and notebooks. So that's just something that I wanted to share here with you today, especially for those who are in this space that they are working in. I'll take a peek and see if you have any questions, but just wanted to share with you a little bit and see if that helps with giving you some ideas if you are in the space of creating some notebooks, some journals, or you are an author already, or maybe you're planning on finishing up your book and getting it published and you're just not sure what to do as far as publishing. And can I do that well or not on Pinterest? My answer to that is definitely yes, for sure. Yes, for sure. That is very easy for you to do. And if you are not on Pinterest, you definitely need to be on Pinterest now so that you can get your books out there and your notebooks and your journals out there. Okay, I will leave you with that and have a great rest of your day.